Settle now and let your breathing slow. While you rest, an unseen host of guardians moves within you, watchful and calm, tending the vast still country of your body through the coming night. You need do nothing for them. They have kept their watch since long before you learned to sleep, and they will keep it long after your eyes close, asking nothing in return but rest. Deep in the marrow of your bones, new defenders are being born even now, countless cells rising like a tide, each one shaped to protect the warm world that is you. Some of these guardians are ancient, shared with nearly every creature that breathes. They answer in moments, never pausing to ask a name, ready always to meet whatever wanders where it should not. Others learn. Slower and wiser, they study a stranger over days, remember its shape forever, and hold that memory close, so a second meeting passes as a whisper rather than a storm. Think of your innate defenders as the ever-open gate, awake in an instant, and your learning defenders as the keepers of long memory, steady scholars who never forget a face once seen. Among the swift ones travel the eaters, cells that fold around anything unwelcome and carry it away, clearing the paths within you as tenderly as hands smoothing a rumpled blanket at dusk. There are scouts as well, wandering cells that gather a small token from an intruder and carry it inward, bringing word to the wise quarters where a careful, tailored answer begins to take shape. Your blood runs thick with tiny messengers and menders, and beside it flows a second river, a hidden network of channels and gathering houses where your guardians meet, rest, and prepare. When a small hurt warms and reddens, that gentle heat is help arriving, vessels widening to send more defenders to the place that needs them. It is repair beginning, not harm. A large share of your body's living defenses gather close around the belly, where trillions of tiny helpful companions dwell. Friends, your guardians have learned to welcome rather than to challenge. Should the body ever raise its own warmth to meet a threat, that rising heat is wisdom, slowing what should not be there while quickening the ones who mend. The body knows this rhythm well. Even the friendly multitudes upon and within you are known and tolerated, an old truce kept faithfully, a peace your guardians renew each hour without a single alarm being sounded. Nothing here is at war tonight. Picture instead a great house at rest, its keepers making their slow rounds by lantern light, straightening what is crooked, mending what is worn, closing what is open. And here is the tender secret of sleep. As you settle, your defenders grow stronger, and their long memory sets more firmly. The mending you cannot feel is deepened because you rest. So give the night to them. Every slowing breath tells your guardians that the house is safe, that they may work in peace, weaving their gentle care through the hours while you let go. You are watched over more faithfully than you have ever known, by defenders who need no thanks and take no rest of their own until yours is complete. You are this moment wonderfully well kept. Let that knowledge settle over you like a warm hand. The guardians are here. They will keep the watch, and you at last are free to sink down into the deep and healing dark. Long before any battle, before a single defender is ever called, your body keeps most travelers out with walls so ordinary you have never once thought to thank them. Consider your skin the largest organ you own, a supple boundary wrapped around everything you are, sealing the warm world within, away from the busy world without. Its outer layer is a patchwork of cells already finished with living, flattened and overlapping like roof tiles, forming a dry, tough surface that few invaders can cross. These cells are always renewing, rising slowly from below and shedding from above, so the outermost wall is forever fresh, forever replaced while you sleep and go about your days. Skin is faintly acidic too, a thin coat unfriendly to many microbes, and it hosts helpful residents of its own that crowd out troublemakers before they find a home. Where the body must open to the world, at eyes and mouth and airways, it cannot be dry and sealed, so it protects those doorways in softer, cleverer ways. Think of tears, warm and constant, washing across each eye with every blink, rinsing away dust and would-be invaders and carrying a substance that steadily dissolves their outer coats. That substance, an enzyme called lysozyme, appears in tears and in saliva alike, snipping apart the walls of many bacteria as if loosening the threads of a knot. Saliva does more than help you taste and swallow. It bathes the mouth, sweeps surfaces clean, and keeps that lively doorway from becoming a comfortable harbor for anything unwelcome. Line your airways, and there you find mucus, a slow, sticky river that catches floating particles the way flypaper holds a speck, trapping them before they journey any deeper. Beneath that river stand countless tiny hairs, cilia beating in unison like a field of grass in wind, sweeping the trapped mucus upward and outward away from the lungs. A cough or a small clearing of the throat is simply that escalator finishing its work, moving what was caught up and away, a housekeeping you rarely even notice. Swallow, and whatever slips down meets one of the fiercest borders of all, the stomach, a pool of acid strong enough to unmake most microbes that arrive within your food. This acid is no accident of digestion alone. It stands as a chemical moat, turning away crowds of travelers so the gut behind it can stay calm and well. Even breathing has its guardians, for the nose warms and filters the air, and its lining traps particles in mucus before they ever reach the tender depths below. None of these walls thinks, none of them learns, yet together they turn away the vast majority of would-be visitors without a single alarm ever being sounded. This is the wisdom of the borders, ancient and tireless, doing so much with so little that the busier defenders inside are rarely, if ever, disturbed from their rest. And when something does slip past, when a wall is crossed at last, a whole waiting world of watchful cells begins to stir, ready to meet whatever comes next. Beneath every worry you carry lies a defense older than memory itself, a first line so ancient that starfish, insects, and oak trees share its earliest patterns with you, awake right now, protect. We call this deep protection your innate immunity, the guardian that never sleeps and never waits. It acts within minutes, asking no permission, recognizing trouble by shape rather than by name. Unlike the learning arm that studies and remembers, this first defense knows no single face. It responds to whole families of intruders at once, broadly, swiftly, tirelessly, the same way it has for ages beyond counting. Picture a tiny scratch on your skin, a doorway opened before you notice. Chemical signals ripple outward like the first ring on a pond, calling the nearest defenders toward the disturbance. Among the first to arrive come the neutrophils, the most numerous of all your white blood cells. They rush the scene, engulfing intruders whole, spending themselves freely in your service. These small responders live only briefly, a short and generous shift, yet in their hours they hold the line, swallowing what does not belong, buying time for the slower reinforcements behind them. Following close come the macrophages, whose name means big eaters. Larger and long-lived, they engulf both invaders and the scattered debris, tidying the ground so healing can begin. A macrophage is groundskeeper and sentinel at once. As it cleans, it also whispers upward, carrying word to the learning defenders that something crossed the threshold and deserves a closer look. Then there are the dendritic cells, your tireless scouts. They gather a fragment of an intruder and carry it inward, a small envelope of evidence bound for the meeting halls where a targeted answer begins. These scouts are the bridge, the still handoff from the fast ancient guard to the slower exacting arm that will one day remember. In this passing of a single clue, two defenses become one. Roaming apart from all of these move the natural killer cells, sensing when a body's own cell has grown stressed or altered. Without any lesson beforehand, they know and they act. Through your blood flows the complement system, a cascade of proteins waiting like a chain of falling dominoes. Once triggered, they tag intruders, summon reinforcements, and clear what should not remain. When help crowds toward a wounded place, blood vessels widen and warmth gathers there. That flush you might feel is not harm arriving, but repair and opening of roads so the menders can reach. Should the trouble spread, your body may lift its own warmth a little, a modest fever. This raised set point slows the intruders while quickening your defenders, a wise tilting of the field in your favor. Every part of this ancient system works without a single thought from you. You need not command it, thank it, or even know its labor. It simply keeps faith, hour upon hour. Consider how far back this inheritance runs. The engulfing, the sensing, the calling for help. These gestures were already old when the first fish swam, already caring for life before backbones existed. So the innate defenders are less a wall than a living welcome party, greeting the unexpected, cleaning, calling, mending, all before you would ever have thought to ask. And while this ancient guard holds the near ground, another defense is waking further in, one that learns and remembers and grows wiser with each meeting. Toward that slower wisdom we now ease. Somewhere beneath your skin, a small scrape opens the day's stillest drama. Before you notice the sting, a call already travels through your blood, and the first defenders begin turning toward the place that needs them. These early helpers are called neutrophils, and of all your white blood cells, they are the most numerous by far. Your body keeps countless numbers of them traveling through the bloodstream, always ready, waiting for a signal. They belong to the innate side of your defenses, the ancient and fast-acting arm you were born already carrying. It does not pause to study a stranger closely. It simply answers swiftly, within minutes of a wound appearing. When tissue is nicked, injured cells release small chemical whispers into the surrounding fluid. These messages spread outward like ripples, and neutrophils, sensing the faint gradient, know exactly which direction leads toward the trouble. To reach the wound, they must leave the river of the bloodstream. A neutrophil rolls along a vessel wall, slows, grips, then squeezes itself flat between the lining cells and slips into the tissue beyond. Once through, it follows the scent trail with remarkable purpose, crawling toward the strongest signal. Picture a tiny traveler wading upstream against a current of chemistry, drawn steadily toward the one place where it is needed most. Arriving at last, the neutrophil meets the invaders that wandered in through the broken skin. It does not hesitate. It reaches around a single microbe, folds inward and swallows it whole into a pocket within itself. This swallowing has a name that simply means cell eating. Inside the neutrophil, the captured stranger is sealed in a small bubble where waiting chemicals dissolve it away harmlessly without you feeling a single thing. One after another, these defenders arrive in great waves, each engulfing what it can. Together they clear the newcomers from the wound, working through the night as you sleep, tidying the small breach in your borders. Neutrophils are not built to last. Each lives only a short while, a matter of hours or a day, spending itself entirely on this single burst of protection before its brief and generous work is done. When one is finished, it does not linger or decay in a harmful way. It folds itself up neatly and fades, and larger cleaners come afterward to gather the remains, leaving the tissue tidy again. Because their lives are so brief, your body must make them endlessly. Deep in the marrow of your bones, new neutrophils are being formed at this very moment, a steady supply flowing out to keep you guarded. The warmth and slight swelling around a scrape are simply the signs of this help arriving. Vessels widen to bring more blood, more messengers, more defenders, so the redness is really the shape of repair. There is a still wisdom in how quickly they answer and how soon they step aside. A guard who rushes in and then withdraws leaves no lasting burden behind, only a clean and mending place. Neutrophils carry no memory of what they meet. They do not learn the names of invaders or recognize them later. That deeper remembering belongs to other cells, further along in the story you're easing through. For now, their gift is speed, the blessing of an answer that comes before you even ask. While your thoughts soften toward rest, these swift responders have already reached the wound and begun their steady tidying. Think of them as the first lanterns lit along a darkened path. Brief flames that flare, do their work and softly go out, having shown the way for the slower, wiser helpers still to come. So the small scrape is already being tended, its edges cleaned, its borders held. And as these fleeting defenders finish their rounds, another kind of guardian is stirring nearby, larger and more unhurried, ready to take up the work. Deeper within the body's tissues live larger guardians, the macrophages, whose name means the big eaters. They are the calm, unhurried caretakers of your innate defense, always present and endlessly attentive. Where the swift first responders arrive and fade within hours, macrophages settle in and stay for weeks. They are the long-lived custodians of the wound, watching over the work of repair with steady care. Picture a broad, generous cell moving slowly through the tissue, reaching out with flowing arms. When it meets an unwelcome microbe, it wraps around and draws it inward, folding the intruder wholly into itself. This engulfing is called phagocytosis, from old words meaning to eat cells. Inside the macrophage, small pockets carry the captured microbe into chambers where it is broken down and rendered harmless once more. Unlike their smaller cousins, macrophages do not only hunt living invaders, they also gather the fragments left behind, the worn and spent cells, tidying the tissue so that fresh healing can begin without clutter. In this way, they are the housekeepers of the body, sweeping and clearing what is no longer needed. A wound cannot mend around debris, and so the big eaters clear room for what comes next. Many macrophages hold a fixed post within particular tissues, keeping watch in the lungs, the liver, the skin, and the bone. Others arrive when called, changing from a traveling cell into a resident caretaker. When first summoned to trouble, a macrophage takes on a rousing manner, releasing signals that widen nearby vessels and welcome more helpers. This warmth and swelling is the tissue gathering strength, not harm arriving. As the danger passes, the same cell can shift its temper toward mending. It releases new messages that soothe the alarm, calm the crowd of defenders, and invite the tissue to knit itself back together. So a macrophage wears two faces across one healing. First, the rouser who calls for aid, then the peacemaker who settles the scene. Both belong to a single thoughtful guardian doing its work in turn. These cells also whisper to the growing tissue, encouraging new blood vessels to reach in and fresh cells to spread across the mending place. They are gardeners as much as guards, tending the ground of repair. There is another gift the big eaters carry. After swallowing an invader, a macrophage can display a small piece of it upon its surface, a token held up for other cells to read and remember. This raised token is one way the slow, learning arm of immunity hears of the threat. The innate caretaker becomes a messenger, passing word from the fast defenders toward the specialists who will remember. In this bridging role, the macrophage joins the scouts of the body, though it prefers to stay near the wound while others journey onward. Its message helps rouse a targeted answer should the same foe return. The word stillness suits these cells well, for they neither rush nor tire. They labor through the long middle of an infection when the first wave has passed and the true work of clearing remains. Should you ever feel a small warmth or tenderness where the skin was troubled, know that macrophages are within, feasting on what does not belong and coaxing the tissue toward wholeness while you rest. Through the night, these broad, tireless caretakers continue their rounds, clearing, mending, and murmuring word of any threat to the wider defense. They ask nothing of you but the ease of sleep, and as they tend the tissue below, another kind of guardian prepares to carry their message further still out toward the meeting places where memory itself is made. Rest now while the big eaters keep their watch. When a small hurt breaks the skin, something warm begins to gather there, and though it may look like trouble, it is care arriving, the body turning toward the place that needs its attention. Inflammation is that turning. The warmth, the faint redness, the little swelling that rises around a scrape are not the body harmed, but the body organizing, marshaling help toward the exact spot where mending must begin. Beneath the surface, tiny blood vessels loosen and widen, opening their walls a fraction so more warm blood can flow inward, carrying nourishment, defenders and repair toward a place that has softly asked for aid. That extra rush of blood is what brings the warmth you feel. Heat is simply help arriving in abundance, defenders and healing proteins pooling close, gathered where the work of restoration will unfold. The redness, too, is the flush of that fuller flow, blood drawn near the surface to serve. What might seem like a wound worsening is really the body leaning in, generous and awake. And the swelling, as vessels open, a little fluid seeps into the surrounding tissue, cushioning the area and floating in the very cells and proteins that will clean, guard, and knit things whole again. Among the first to answer are the neutrophils, the most numerous of your defenders, hurrying from the bloodstream through those widened walls to reach the tender place and begin their faithful tending. Behind them come the macrophages, the larger and longer-lived caretakers whose name means big eaters, arriving to clear away debris, tidy the ground, and prepare it for the slow, sure return of health. Signals guide them all, small chemical calls released at the site that whisper "come here" through the crowd of cells, drawing help precisely where it belongs and nowhere it is not needed. Think of it as a warm lamp lit in one small window of a vast house, telling every willing helper exactly which room to enter, so no effort is wasted and comfort finds its mark. This whole response belongs to your innate defense, the ancient, ready arm you share with nearly every creature that lives, always prepared, needing no lesson, answering within minutes to hours of any small alarm. Even a fever, should one rise, is part of this same wisdom. The body lifts its own inner set point a little, slowing unwelcome guests while quickening the defenders who thrive in that steady, purposeful warmth. A modest fever is not the body faltering, but the body choosing, adjusting its warmth like a thermostat turned with intention, tilting every advantage toward the guardians who keep you well. And because this response is precise, it knows when to soften. Once the danger passes and the tissue is clean, the vessels ease back, the warmth fades, and calm settles again like evening. Special signals then call the fire down, telling the gathered cells their work is finished, letting the swelling recede, so healing closes over as smoothly as water settling after a stone has sunk. So the heat and flush you sometimes feel are not the marks of harm, but the fingerprints of repair, a body that notices, that answers, that pours warmth toward whatever needs its steady care. All of this may be happening in some small corner of you even now, unseen, unhurried, asking nothing of your attention, tending softly while your thoughts ease toward the stillness of rest. And rest, as you will find, only deepens this care, giving your defenders the calm hours they favor for mending. Let the warmth of your own healing carry you onward into sleep. Somewhere deep within, a decision is made to change the weather of your whole body. A little more warmth, chosen on purpose, spreading like sunrise through every resting corner of you. Your inner thermostat lives in the brain, in a region that keeps your temperature steady the way a careful hand keeps a candle level. Tonight it lifts the mark just a touch higher. When defenders meet an unwelcome visitor, they release small messengers that travel toward this thermostat. They ask in their molecular way for the body to grow a little warmer. The request is heard. A fever is not the body breaking. It is the body choosing. The set point rises and everything else follows, the way a room warms once someone kindly turns the dial. Warmth, it turns out, is a kind of strategy. Many invaders thrive best at your usual temperature. Nudge that upward and their comfort thins. their multiplying slows, their advantage slips softly away. Meanwhile, your own defenders wake more briskly in the added heat. Cells move faster, signals travel quicker. The whole rescue effort finds a new and steadier tempo, as if warmth were a kind of encouragement. This is why a fever can feel like a fire lit with purpose, not to harm the house, but to make it inhospitable to trouble and welcoming to the ones who mend you. At first you may feel cool even as your inside warms. The body is climbing toward its new mark, and until it arrives, the old temperature feels a shade too low. So you draw the blanket closer, and the small shiver you feel is muscles working, making heat, helping the body reach the warmth it has already decided to hold. Once the new set point is met, the shivering settles. You rest in a warmth that is doing its work, the fire steady, the defenders busy, the whole effort humming beneath your skin. A modest fever is a helper, not a foe. Within a careful range, it slows invaders and hurries your guardians, a borrowed heat that the body knows exactly how to spend. The neutrophils, first to any wound, work a little faster now. The larger eaters that clean and heal move with new readiness. Even the scouts hurry their errands toward the waiting lymph nodes. And the cells of adaptive immunity, the ones that learn and remember, find in this warmth a quicker path to their meeting. Memory forms best when the body is fully roused to help. There is a rhythm to it, a rising and a falling, a tide of warmth that the brain measures with careful precision. Nothing here is careless. Every degree is chosen and watched. When the visitor is bested, the messengers fall silent, the thermostat lowers its mark, and the body cools back toward its ordinary calm, like embers settling into a soft and even glow. The warmth releases as it came, without alarm. You may feel a light dampness on your skin as heat leaves, the body letting go of what it no longer needs. All of this can unfold while you sleep. The fire tended by hands you never see, the warmth rising and easing in step with your slow and dreaming breath. And as the last of the heat softens, your guardians keep their watch, the thermostat resting easy again, the whole steady work of protection carrying you onward into deeper rest. Deep within your skin and the linings of your lungs and gut, a certain cell waits with arms spread wide, listening to the world. We call these watchful ones the dendritic cells. Their name comes from branches, for they reach outward in delicate fingers like a slender tree feeling the air. Between those branches, the passing world is sampled, tasted, and calmly understood. All day and all night they sip from their surroundings, drawing in tiny pieces of whatever floats near. Most of it is harmless, familiar part of you, and they simply let it go. Should a true stranger arrive, something not of your body, the dendritic cell takes hold of a fragment. It tucks that small piece safely inside, a sample to be studied elsewhere. This is the moment the innate defenders and the learning defenders first join hands. The fast ancient guardians have met a puzzle, and now they seek those who can solve it precisely. Carrying its captured fragment, the scout changes. It loosens its grip on the tissue, gathers itself, and begins a slow, deliberate journey through the body's second circulation of clear channels. These channels belong to the lymphatic system, a hushed network of vessels flowing alongside your blood, Along their path sit small way stations, gathering places where immune cells meet and confer. Toward one such way station, the dendritic cell travels, a rounded lymph node nestled in the neck, the underarm, or the groin. Here, the training grounds of the adaptive response await. Inside the node, countless young defenders wander and mingle, each shaped to recognize one thing and one thing only. Among these many, the scout searches for the rare few who match its fragment. On its surface, the dendritic cell holds the captured piece high, displaying it like a small banner. It moves among the crowd, offering its evidence to any cell willing to look. Most defenders pass without a flicker, for the fragment means nothing to them. Then one, shaped by chance to fit this exact stranger, brushes against the banner and holds fast. That meeting is the spark. The chosen defender, recognizing its lifelong purpose at last, begins to stir to wake and to prepare to multiply into an answering force. The dendritic cell does more than show its banner. Through touch and soft chemical signals, it confirms that this stranger truly was found in the tissues, that the alarm is real. With that assurance, helper cells rouse and organize the wider response, calling forth those who will hunt infected cells and those who will craft the marking proteins to come. So a single scout, no larger than a speck, sets in motion a defense tuned to one precise invader. From a fragment carried inward, a whole learned response begins to unfold. Then, its message delivered, the dendritic cell has finished its long errand. Others of its kind are already spread through your skin and passages, sampling, waiting, ready to carry the next word inward. This is the bridge, the crossing from the swift and general to the slow and exact. Because scouts walk it faithfully, your body can meet each new stranger with knowledge rather than guesswork. As you rest, these tireless messengers keep their watchful rounds, carrying news to the training grounds while you sleep. And from these meetings, still and unseen, the next chapter of your defense takes shape. Let the story rest here for a while. Beneath your calm breathing, an unhurried world of cells continues its steady rounds, asking nothing of you, needing no thought, no worry, no waking effort at all. Picture the body as a wide, dim harbor at night. The tide of blood moves without sound, carrying its countless small keepers along familiar routes, each easing toward wherever it is quietly needed. There is no alarm sounding now, no rushing, no wound to mend, only the steady hum of ordinary care, the way a well-loved house settles and creaks contentedly once everyone inside has drifted off. Among the innate defenders, those ancient and ever-ready guardians shared with nearly all animals, the watch never fully closes. They move slowly through this restful hour, unhurried, simply present, simply attentive. Macrophages, the steady big eaters, wander through the tissues, clearing away the day's small debris, tidying, smoothing, helping worn things heal. Larger and longer lived, they take their unhurried time. Somewhere in the lymphatic vessels, that second gentle circulation threading beside the blood, lymph slides toward the nodes like quiet streams gathering into cool and shadowed pools. The nodes themselves rest as gathering halls, small way stations where scouts and defenders may meet. Tonight few messages arrive, so the halls stay still, lamps low, doors softly ajar. Behind the breastbone, the thymus keeps its slow schooling, where young cells learn what belongs to you and what does not. Even this teaching moves at a resting pace tonight. Deep in the marrow, the birthplace of every defender, new cells are shaped without ceremony. The old ones fade, the new ones rise, an endless slow exchange you never have to notice. Around the gut, where most of the body's immune tissue quietly resides, trillions of friendly microbes settle in for the night. The guardians there have long since learned to welcome them. This is the art the immune system practices best in stillness, the tireless tolerance of what is harmless, the ease of leaving friends undisturbed. Restfulness itself is a kind of wisdom. No fever warms you now, no widening of vessels bringing extra help, no redness of repair. All those tools wait folded and ready, unneeded, resting as you. And yet you are never truly unguarded. Natural killer cells move among your tissues, sensing without being told, needing no lesson, ready to notice a cell in trouble should trouble ever come. In the bloodstream, the complement proteins float in their long, unhurried cascade, poised but quiet, a chain of small helpers waiting only for a signal that this peaceful hour does not arrive. Consider what sleep is offering in return. As you sink deeper, the body strengthens these defenses and helps set memories in place so that past lessons harden into lasting, steadying knowledge. Memory cells, both the antibody makers and the watchful T cells, hold their long recollections through the years. They rest as you rest, keeping their quiet promise that a familiar threat will be met faster next time. So let the numbers of them go uncounted, the many becoming simply a warmth, a hum, a feeling of being tended. You are cared for from within by hands you will never see. Breathe out once more, and let the watch go on without you. The guardians keep their easy vigil, the tide moves on, and softly the story carries you onward into the next still chapter of rest. Beneath the familiar rush of blood, another circulation waits, threading through you like a hidden network of streams. It carries no red, only a pale and faithful fluid the body calls lymph. Everywhere your blood travels, it seeps a little clear liquid into the spaces between cells, bathing them, feeding them. This soft overflow gathers and the lymphatic vessels rise to collect it. Think of these vessels as slender inner brooks, finer than threads in places, weaving upward through limbs and torso. They begin nowhere grand, opening among your tissues to sip what the blood leaves behind. Unlike the heart-driven river of blood, this second circulation has no central pump. It moves as you move, pressed onward by breathing muscles, by walking, by the slow stretch of a resting body. Tiny doors line these vessels, folds that open to let fluid forward and close behind it, so the current can only flow one way. Onward it flows, never doubling back. Along the route sit small stations, rounded and soft, tucked beneath the jaw, under the arms, within the groin. These are the lymph nodes, way stations where the fluid pauses to be inspected. Inside each node, the passing lymph slows and filters through a mesh crowded with waiting immune cells. Here macrophages linger, those broad and steady eaters, sampling all that drifts by for anything amiss. The scouts arrive here too. Dendritic cells travel the lymph carrying a fragment of some intruder, seeking the cells of adaptive defense, delivering their message to the cells that learn. Within these quiet chambers gather the great council of learning cells, the T and the B, resting in their thousands, waiting for word of a threat so they may wake and answer. When such word comes, a node may swell a little, warm and tender to the touch. That tenderness is not harm but industry, the sign of defenders multiplying, readying their careful reply. The clear fluid, purified and checked, continues its unhurried climb. All these streams converge toward great vessels near the collarbone, where the lymph rejoins the blood and the loop is complete. Two organs anchor this hidden system. Behind the breastbone rests the thymus, the school where young T cells learn restraint before they are trusted to guard the whole of you. On your left, cradled beneath the ribs, sits the spleen, a soft dark filter for the blood itself. It clears the worn and the spent, and keeps its own reserve of watchful cells. And gathered around the gut lies the largest congregation of immune tissue in the body, keeping thoughtful company with the trillions of helpful microbes it has learned to welcome and tolerate. So the lymphatic rivers do more than drain. They ferry news and messengers, gathering the smallest hints of trouble and delivering them where wise cells wait to weigh what should be done. This whole second circulation asks so little of you, moving on the rhythm of an ordinary day, on each breath and each turning in sleep, tending the spaces between your cells while you rest. Picture it now, the pale streams rising through you, the soft nodes keeping their steady watch, the spleen and thymus holding firm, all of it working without your notice or effort. And as your breathing slows toward sleep, these quiet rivers keep flowing, carrying their cargo of care through the dark, ready to pass their gathered wisdom onward to the guardians who remember. Scattered through your body along the branching rivers of the lymphatic system sit small, soft nodes, each no larger than a bean, waiting like calm rooms where your defenders can gather and confer. You may have felt one once, tucked beneath the jaw or in the neck, a little tenderness that meant nothing frightening, only that a checkpoint had grown busy tending to your care. These nodes rest at the crossings of the lymphatic vessels, that second circulation flowing beside your blood, carrying a clear fluid called lymph, and the immune cells that travel within it. Think of a node as a training ground and a meeting hall at once, a place where scouts arrive with news and where the slower learning defenders come to be told exactly whom to seek. Remember the dendritic cells, the calm scouts of the tissues. When they find a trace of an invader, they carry that small sample inward, following the lymph toward the nearest waiting node. Their journey is unhurried, a slow glide along the vessels, and as they travel they change, readying themselves to teach, preparing the single piece of evidence they will present on arrival. Inside the node, the scout meets the T cells, the learning defenders that mature in the thymus behind the breastbone, each carrying a different, unique recognition. Most T cells will glance at the offered sample and find no match, easing onward. This is not failure, but the wondrous calm of a system searching for the one who fits. And when at last a T cell finds its match, something beautiful begins. That single cell awakens and prepares to multiply, ready to answer the exact shape the scout has carried home. Helper T cells rouse and coordinate, sending word through the node, calling the response into being and encouraging the other defenders toward their proper, well-rehearsed tasks. Nearby wait the B cells, also born in the marrow, matured there too, each holding the blueprint for one kind of antibody, those Y-shaped proteins that lock onto a single target. Roused within the node, chosen B cells become plasma cells, small tireless workshops that pour out streams of matching antibodies to tag and mark the invader wherever it may travel. This gathering is the true bridge between the two arms of your defense, the fast innate scouts handing their findings to the slower, specific, learning adaptive cells who remember. From here, the newly readied defenders slip back into the lymph and the blood, flowing outward toward wherever help is needed, carrying knowledge earned in these quiet inner rooms. The lymphatic vessels always run one way, homeward, draining fluid from your tissues, filtering it through node after node, so nothing troubling passes without being noticed and considered. Among these nodes lie other guardians of the same family, the spleen filtering your blood, the thymus schooling young T cells, and the vast immune tissue gathered around your gut. Some of the cells awakened here will become memory, lingering for years, so that a second meeting with the same invader is answered swiftly, calmly, almost before you would ever notice. And as you rest tonight, these small checkpoints keep their steady watch, filtering, teaching, remembering, while sleep itself deepens the lessons learned, and the story of your care flows onward. Beneath the swift first responders lies a second defense, one that does not merely react but learns. It shapes itself to each new visitor, a slower wisdom that only creatures with backbones carry within them. Where the fast defenders act in minutes, this deeper kind takes days the first time it meets a stranger. It studies, it remembers, and it prepares a reply crafted for that single intruder alone. Its cells are born in the marrow, the soft red workshop nested inside your bones. From there they travel, some to finish their schooling elsewhere, each becoming a specialist in the art of recognition. One kind journeys to the thymus, a small organ resting behind the breastbone. There these cells are trained, tested, and taught restraint, learning to know friend from foe before they are trusted to serve. We call them T cells, and they come in kinds. Helper T cells rouse and coordinate the whole response, calling defenders together like a leader waking a village to tend a small trouble. Their companions, the killer T cells, watch for the body's own cells that have been taken over from inside. When one is found harboring an invader, they end it, sparing all the healthy neighbors around. Another lineage, the B cells, finish their maturing in the marrow itself. Each carries a shape upon its surface, a lock waiting steadily for the one key it was made to answer. When a B cell meets its match, it awakens and becomes a plasma cell, a tireless little maker. Its craft is a protein shaped like the letter Y, released in great numbers. These proteins are antibodies, and each one clasps a single specific target. They do not destroy directly, they tag and mark and neutralize, flagging the intruder so other defenders know exactly what to clear away. How does this precise defense learn what to chase? A scout carries the answer. Dendritic cells gather a fragment of the invader and travel inward to teach the waiting T cells its shape. They journey along the lymphatic roads, That second circulation of slender vessels threaded through you, at its stations the lymph nodes, scouts, and cells meet, and the tailored response is softly begun. Once the reply is written, the cleanup unfolds. Antibodies coat the intruders and the complement proteins, a cascade waiting in the blood, gather to tag and finish the marked ones cleanly. Then comes the gift that changes everything. A portion of these trained cells does not fade when the trouble passes. They linger as memory, both B and T, holding the lesson for years. So a second meeting is nothing like the first. What once took days now answers in hours, so swift and hushed that you may never notice the visitor arrived at all. This is the wisdom vaccines borrow. They offer the immune system a harmless rehearsal, a chance to learn a shape and store its memory, so the true encounter finds you already prepared. All the while, this precise defense practices restraint. It learns to tolerate the trillions of helpful microbes that share your body and the countless harmless things you breathe and taste each ordinary day. Innate and adaptive work as partners, the fast and the learned, weaving speed together with memory. Neither could guard you alone. Together they form a still, tireless intelligence tending you from within. And this learning deepens most while you rest. Sleep helps the memory cells settle their lessons, sealing what the day taught them. As you settle now, your defenders study, remember, and grow wiser still. Among your defenders live the T cells, specialists of the adaptive immune system. Each one learns to recognize a single target among millions, waiting through the years for the one match it was made to know. Every T cell is born within the bone marrow, then travels to a small organ tucked behind the breastbone. This is the thymus, a hushed school where these cells are trained before they ever begin their work. Inside the thymus, young T cells are tested with great care. Those that might mistake your own healthy tissue for an intruder are set aside, so only trustworthy guardians graduate to protect you. What emerges is a body of specialists so varied that almost any invader, even one never met before, will find a T cell somewhere already shaped to recognize its particular signature. This is the wonder of learned defense. Each T cell carries a receptor on its surface, a shape unique to that cell alone. Think of it as a single key, cut to fit one lock among an unimaginable number of possible locks. Because no cell can hold every key, your body makes an enormous crowd of T cells, each with a different receptor. Together they form a living library of recognition, ready for almost anything. Most of the time these specialists rest, easing through blood and lymph, patrolling the nodes and passages of the lymphatic system. They wait without impatience for a matching signal to appear. When a scout arrives from the innate defenses, a dendritic cell bearing a fragment of an invader, the T cells gather round to inspect it. Only the one whose key fits that fragment will answer the call. That single matched T cell then awakens and begins to divide, making many identical copies of itself. From one waiting specialist grows a whole team, all tuned to the very same target. Among them are the helper T cells, the coordinators of your defense. They rouse other cells, send chemical messages, and encourage the makers of antibodies, orchestrating the response like a thoughtful conductor. Others become killer T cells, also called cytotoxic. Their task is a careful one, for they seek out the body's own cells that have been infected within and guide those few to a clean and orderly end. This inward vigilance matters because some invaders hide inside your cells where antibodies cannot reach. The killer T cells read the small distress signals a troubled cell displays and respond only where truly needed. Helper and killer alike work in concert with the innate guardians met before. The fast responders hold the line in minutes, while the T cells bring precision that unfolds across the following days. When the threat has passed, most of this gathered team completes its purpose and softly withdraws so that calm returns, yet a chosen few remain behind, changed by what they learned. These are the memory T cells, and they may persist for many years. Should the same invader ever return, they recognize it almost at once, so the second meeting is far swifter and calmer than the first. Such memory is the deep reason a rehearsal can teach protection without danger. Your specialists remember the shape of a threat and hold that knowledge ready long after the lesson itself has faded. All of this careful schooling, dividing and remembering, asks for rest to do its finest work. As you sleep, immune memory settles and strengthens, the lessons of the day softly written into these tireless guardians. So while you drift toward sleep, imagine that vast library of specialists, each holding its single key, each content to wait. They keep their long watch so that you may let go and simply rest. Some invaders never linger in the open blood. They slip inside your own cells and hide there, and for these the body keeps a special kind of guardian, unhurried and precise, ready when needed. These guardians are the killer T cells, born in the bone marrow and schooled in the thymus behind your breastbone. There they learned before ever meeting danger to know friend from foreign. Every cell in your body holds up small tokens on its surface, showing fragments of what it makes within. It is an honest window, a way each cell tells its neighbors what is happening inside. A killer T cell moves along, reading these tokens the way you might trail a finger over letters. Most say only, "All is well," and it eases onward, unhurried content. When a cell has been entered by an invader, its tokens change. It begins displaying a fragment of the intruder, an inward alarm raised without a sound, waiting for the right reader to pass. The killer T cell carries a shape that matches one target and one alone. Should the displayed fragment fit that shape, the two lock together and a still certainty settles between them. This matching is the heart of adaptive immunity, the learning arm of your defenses. Unlike the swift, innate first responders, these cells are chosen for one foe, and they remember it for years. The killer T cell reads the fragment closely, making sure the match is true. Only when it is certain does it commit to what comes next. What it does is merciful in its way. It signals the troubled cell to fold itself up in a calm and orderly way, a tidy closing that keeps the hidden invader from spreading to healthy neighbors. This orderly ending is the body's own housekeeping, planned and clean, releasing nothing harmful into the tissue around it. Nearby scavenger cells arrive to clear the remains and carry them softly away. One killer T cell can move from cell to cell, setting several right before it rests. It works without fever or fuss, a careful hand passing through a crowded room, touching only where needed. These cells rarely act alone. Helper T cells rouse and strengthen them, and dendritic scouts once carried word to the lymph nodes where whole families of matched guardians were first gathered and grown. Nearby, the innate natural killer cells watch too, sensing cells that hide their tokens altogether. Between the trained killers and these untutored sentinels, few troubled cells go unnoticed for long. When the danger has passed, most of these guardians slip into rest, their work complete, yet a few remain as memory cells, keepers of the lesson, so a second meeting is swifter and calmer. Because of memory, should that same hidden invader ever return, your killer T cells need no long preparation. They recognize it at once, and the whole affair is settled almost before you notice. All of this unfolds within you now, unfelt and unrushed, a slow and thoughtful tending. There is nothing to fear in it, only the steady care of cells that know your body is home. As you rest, this careful work continues and even deepens. Sleep helps these guardians form their memories, laying down the lessons of the day so tomorrow's defense is wiser and more assured. And so the killer T cells keep their faithful watch, reading, matching, setting right, then stepping back. From this calm mending we ease onward toward the cells that first raise the alarm. Deep within a lymph node, a helper T cell waits, resting like a conductor before the music begins, ready to lead the body's defenders through whatever tune the moment may ask of them. Like every T cell, this one was schooled in the thymus, that watchful organ tucked behind the breastbone, where it learned to recognize friend from stranger with remarkable and careful precision. A dendritic cell arrives from far away, a scout returning from the skin, carrying a small piece of an invader held aloft like a message meant only for the coordinators. The helper T cell reads that fragment, checking it against its single chosen shape. When the pattern matches, something long prepared awakens, and the cell begins to stir toward its purpose. It does not rush into the fray or engulf a single thing. Its gift is guidance, the rousing of others, the poised directing of an answer far larger than itself alone. First it multiplies, dividing again and again into a family of identical helpers, so that many voices may carry the same clear instruction across the crowded corridors of the lymph. To the B cells it turns, offering encouragement and a chemical handshake, urging them onward toward becoming plasma cells that will craft antibodies shaped for this one particular foe. Those antibodies, small and Y-shaped, will lock onto their target and mark it for removal, and none of that careful work begins in earnest without the helper's steady blessing. Toward the killer T cells it also leans, waking them fully, strengthening their resolve to find and clear the body's own cells that an invader has slipped silently inside. It speaks in messengers called cytokines, tiny signaling molecules released into the surrounding fluid, a language of persuasion that tells each defender when to grow, when to gather, when to act. Macrophages, those larger eaters that clean and mend, listen too. A word from the helper sharpens their appetite, making them fiercer stewards of the tissue they patrol and tend. Nothing here is loud or frantic. The coordinator sets a measured pace, a rhythm that lets the response build in proportion, neither too faint to matter, nor too fierce to harm. Think of an orchestra, each section skilled yet awaiting a cue. The helper T cell lifts its unseen hand, and the strings and horns of immunity find their timing together. Because it sits at the center of so much, the body guards this cell with great care, and much of its wisdom is kept safe in memory for the years ahead. When the danger has passed and the fragment is cleared, most of these helpers fade, their task complete, leaving the tissues to settle back into their accustomed stillness. Yet a few remain as memory helpers, quiet keepers of the lesson, so that should the same stranger return, the whole coordinated answer arrives faster and with far less fuss. All of this unfolds without your notice, a conductor at work behind the curtain of your skin, arranging protection while you read, while you breathe, while you drift toward rest. And as sleep deepens, this careful work deepens too, for the resting body strengthens its defenders and files away their lessons, mending itself in the hush before another day. Deeper now into the adaptive world, we meet the B cells born within the soft marrow of your bones and matured there too, each one a tiny craftsman waiting for its calling. What makes a B cell wondrous is its focus. Everyone carries a single design, a shaped receptor that fits just one intruder, as a key fits one lock and no other in the world. Before you were ever exposed to anything, your marrow had already fashioned millions of these cells, each bearing a different shape, so that almost any invader would find its matching craftsman already made. This is the marvel of the adaptive arm, not one weapon for all, but a vast library of specialists, calm and unbothered, easing through blood and lymph, waiting for the one shape they were built to know. A B cell rarely acts alone. When a helper T cell brings word that its particular invader has truly arrived, the B cell wakes, reassured that its long wait had purpose. Roused at last, the chosen B cell begins to divide, copying itself again and again, building a whole family of identical craftsmen from that single waiting cell, all tuned to the same intruder. Many of these copies mature into what we call plasma cells, and here the true wonder begins, for a plasma cell becomes a small, tireless factory devoted to one product alone. That product is the antibody, a protein shaped like a letter Y, its two upper arms formed to clasp the invader's surface and hold fast wherever that shape appears. A single plasma cell can pour out thousands of these Y-shaped proteins each second, a steady stream of matching keys released into the blood to seek their one true target. Antibodies do not destroy on their own. They tag and they bind, marking an invader so other defenders find it easily, and cloaking its surface so it can no longer latch onto your cells. When many antibodies clasp a single microbe, they can clump invaders together into harmless bundles, neutralizing them and readying the whole knot for the eaters to clear away in peace. These same antibodies call upon the complement proteins that cascade in your blood, guiding them to the tagged invader so it may be marked, cleared, and calmly undone. Because each B cell answers to one shape alone, the response grows exquisitely precise, a defense measured to the exact intruder, leaving your own cells untouched and at peace. The first time you meet an invader, this shaping takes days, for the matching craftsman must be found, roused, and multiplied. It is thorough work, and thoroughness asks a little time. Yet the body does not forget. Some of the awakened B cells become memory cells, and these linger for years, holding the shape in reserve, ready long after the trouble has passed. Should that same invader ever return, the memory cells stir at once, and antibodies flood forth so swiftly that you may never feel a thing, the threat undone before it begins. This is how a rehearsal teaches without danger, letting your B cells learn a shape in calm, so their memory stands ready, a still promise kept within your marrow and blood. And as you rest, this learning deepens, for sleep helps these memories settle and hold. While you rest, the antibody makers file away their shapes, and the work carries softly onward. Rest here a while, and let the pace slow. Beneath the calm of your breathing, a body busies itself with the oldest work there is, the steady repair of what the day has worn. There is no hurry in healing. Cell by cell, the mending unfolds on its own unhurried schedule, needing nothing from you but the stillness you are already offering it now. Think of a small scrape from hours ago. Around it, blood vessels have widened, carrying warmth and helpers to the spot. That gentle heat is not harm, it is the body arriving to care. Among the first to come are the neutrophils, the most numerous of the white cells, quick and short-lived. They engulf whatever does not belong, then fade, their brief shift honestly done. Behind them arrive the macrophages, the big eaters, larger and longer-lived. They clear away debris and tidy the ground so that fresh whole tissue can grow across the space that was broken. None of this asks your attention. The work is arranged so completely that you may sink toward sleep while it continues, sure-handed and unhurried, in the warm dark beneath your skin. Elsewhere, a second circulation moves in a hush all its own. Clear lymph moves through slender vessels and small nodes, ferrying cells and carrying away what the day has left behind. Nothing races here. The lymph travels slowly, gathered along by the ordinary motions of a resting body, a tide of care flowing inward to the still way stations where defenders gather and rest. In the marrow of your bones, new cells are being born even now, a steady making that never truly pauses, so the guardians are always young, always ready, always renewing. Consider how much is remembered. In hidden reserves, memory cells hold the shape of old troubles met long ago, keeping their knowledge for years, so nothing already learned must be learned twice. Because of them, a familiar visitor is met without alarm. The response is faster, softer, over almost before it began, a recognition rather than a struggle, a knowing nod in the dark. Everywhere along your gut, where most of your immune tissue lives, the guardians practice their oldest art of all, tolerance. They have learned which trillions of small helpers to welcome and let be. This is much of their labor, calm acceptance, to know friend from stranger, to let the helpful microbes stay, to keep the peace of a body that is in truth a shared and settled home. And now sleep itself joins the work. As you sink deeper, your defenders do not idle. Rest is when immune memory forms most surely, when the lessons of the day are folded away and kept. So the very stillness carrying you toward sleep is also strengthening the ones who watch. Mending and resting are not two things here. They are a single motion, turning slowly through the night. No fever stirs, no alarm sounds. only the ordinary, faithful upkeep of a body at ease, tending its own small repairs the way a garden is tended, one tireless row at a time. Let that be enough to lean into. You need not track a single cell. They know their work. They have always known it, and they will carry on long after your thoughts have gone soft. Breathe out and let the mending have you. Cell by unhurried cell, the slow, sure rhythm continues, caring for you while you rest, and carrying you onward into the next quiet hour. Imagine a key so precisely cut that it fits only one lock in all the world. Your body carries countless such keys, each shaped for a single stranger it may someday meet. These keys are proteins we call antibodies, and each one holds the form of a letter Y. Two arms reach outward, ready to grasp, while a single stem waits below to summon further help. Antibodies are made by plasma cells, the mature form of the B cells that came of age within your bone marrow. Once a threat is recognized, these makers pour their keys into the blood. The tips of that Y are where the wonder lives. Each pair is folded into a shape found nowhere else, matching one small patch on one particular invader as a hand fits its own worn glove. When an antibody meets its target, it locks on and does not let go. It does not wound or destroy. It clings, it marks, it labels the stranger for the defenders who follow. Think of it as a small tag left upon a passing traveler, a bright ribbon tied so that everyone downstream will know at a glance whom to help and whom to escort out. By latching on, antibodies hold an invader still. A germ coded in these keys can no longer slip into your cells, its grasping tools now blocked, its mischief calmly disarmed. This holding is called neutralizing, and it is a peaceful kind of victory. The threat is not torn apart, merely rendered harmless, wrapped and waiting like a parcel to be carried away. When many antibodies gather on one surface, larger eaters take notice. Macrophages read those tags as an invitation, engulfing the marked stranger and folding it into their own clearing work. The stem of the Y speaks to the complement system too, that cascade of blood proteins that follows the tags, gathering to clear and finish what the antibodies began. Your body can craft keys for shapes it has never encountered, an inheritance of near-endless variety. Long before a threat arrives, the design that will greet it already sleeps in waiting. The first meeting takes days, for the right maker must be found among millions and coaxed to multiply. This is the learning of adaptive immunity, unhurried, deliberate, and thorough. Yet what is learned is not forgotten. Memory B cells linger for years, holding the blueprint of that key, so a second meeting is met with a flood of antibodies almost at once. This is the hidden gift within a vaccine, a harmless rehearsal that leaves behind the memory without the danger, so your makers already know which key to cut when the true moment comes. Antibodies also travel through the lymph, that second slow circulation of vessels and nodes, patrolling the still waters between your cells where strangers might otherwise hide. Some of these keys pass from a mother to her child, carried across before birth and later within her milk, a first set of defenders lent until the little one can forge its own. And as you rest tonight, your body tends this armory. Sleep helps memory settle and strengthen, refining the makers so their keys grow ever surer with each passing night. So sink onward now, held by these tireless guardians. Somewhere within, a Y-shaped key finds its lock, holds fast, and keeps you safe, while the deeper story of your defenses continues on. Long after a struggle has ended and the last defender has stood down, your body keeps something precious safe, a memory of who came and exactly how it was met. When the adaptive immune system first meets an invader, it learns slowly, taking days to shape the perfect answer, yet it does not forget that answer once the visitor has gone. As the battle settles, most of the roused cells fade away, their work complete. A small number choose instead to remain, becoming keepers of what was learned. These are the memory cells, and they arise from two great families you already know, the B cells born and taught in the marrow, and the T cells schooled within the thymus. A memory B cell carries the blueprint for one exact antibody, that Y-shaped protein tuned to grip a single foe. It waits, blueprint folded away, holding the shape in trust. Memory T cells linger too, some remembering how to rouse the whole household, others recalling how to find and clear the body's own cells once a hidden invader slips in. Where do these rememberers rest while nothing threatens? They settle in the lymph nodes, in the spleen, in the marrow, patrolling the slow rivers of the lymphatic system. Think of them as a small honor guard, few in number yet perfectly informed, each one holding the memory of a face the body hopes never to greet again. Years may pass, seasons turn, cells are born and retire in their millions, and still the memory endures, kept alive by a soft, faithful signal that whispers, "Remain, remain." Should that same invader ever return, everything changes. There is no slow week of learning now, for the answer was written long ago and merely waits to be read again. The memory cells recognize the old shape almost at once. They wake, they multiply, and within hours they summon a defense far larger and swifter than the first ever was. Memory B cells bloom into plasma cells, and antibodies pour forth in a great tide, locking onto the invader and marking it for clearing before it can gain any foothold. This is why a foe met once is so often met in silence the second time. The threat is answered and cleared before you notice a single sign, before any feeling of illness stirs. It is a still marvel of your design, a lifelong library of enemies, each entry read in an instant, each answer refined and ready, held for you across the years. Here lies the wisdom behind a rehearsal called vaccination. It shows the body a harmless likeness of a foe, and from that soft meeting, true memory forms without any real danger. So the guard learns its lesson in calm and keeps it. Should the genuine threat ever arrive, it meets a household already prepared, already remembering, already sure of what to do. And your rest weaves into all of this, for sleep is when memory takes its firmest hold. As you lie still, the body sorts and settles what it learned, sealing the lessons deep. So drift on, knowing that within you a faithful memory is being kept, watchful and unhurried. Tomorrow it will carry every lesson forward into the next calm turning of your care. Behind your breastbone, tucked above the heart, rests a soft and modest organ called the thymus. Here, young defenders arrive to learn their lifelong lesson, how to protect you without ever harming you. Though born within your bone marrow, the youngest T cells travel here to finish growing. Think of the thymus as a watchful school, its still halls devoted to shaping guardians wise enough to tell friend from foe. Each arriving cell is untrained and eager, carrying a unique receptor shaped almost at random. Some of these shapes will one day recognize an invader, but first, every single one must pass careful examinations. The first lesson asks a simple question: can this young cell recognize the body's own signals at all? A defender blind to these markers would be useless, so those who cannot respond are set aside. The graduates who remain then face a subtler, more important trial. The thymus shows them countless fragments of the body itself, testing whether any cell mistakes your own tissues for something dangerous. Should a young T cell react too fiercely to your own cells, it is softly retired, never allowed to leave. This tender pruning protects you from a defender that might turn its strength inward. Scientists call this careful sorting selection, and its purpose is tolerance, the deep art of leaving your own body in peace. Millions of cells are taught, only the trustworthy ones earn their release. Within the thymus, special teaching cells perform something remarkable. They display bits of proteins from across the whole body, organs the young defenders may never otherwise meet, so nothing familiar is ever mistaken for a threat. Because of this thorough rehearsal, a matured T cell knows your heart, your skin, your muscles as beloved home ground. It saves its readiness for the truly foreign, the microbe that does not belong. The cells who pass become two kinds of graduates. Killer T cells learn to spot your own cells once an invader hides inside them. Helper T cells learn to coordinate, rousing the wider defense. Only a small fraction of the students ever complete this schooling. The thymus is exacting, and its high standards are a gift. For each survivor is both capable and gentle, a guardian you can trust. Once ready, these young defenders slip into the lymphatic vessels, that hushed second circulation of nodes and channels. They travel outward to wait in the body's watchful stations, prepared but unhurried. The thymus works hardest in your earliest years, filling the body with a lifetime supply of trained defenders. It teaches while you are small, laying a foundation of protection that endures for decades. As the years pass, this school slowly grows smaller and stiller, its lessons largely complete. The defenders it graduated long ago remain on duty, and memory keeps their wisdom alive within you. It is a wondrous thought that your very safety depends not only on strength, but on restraint. The thymus teaches defenders to hold back, to spare the body they were made to serve. This is why your immune system so rarely turns against you. Deep in that hidden school, each guardian learned tolerance, learned restraint, learned the steady promise to guard your own cells as kin. And rest, as always, supports this careful work. While you sleep, the body tends its defenses, strengthening the memory of every lesson, letting your guardians settle into their long, watchful calm. So as you drift, picture that small school behind your breastbone, its teaching done, its graduates dispersed and faithful. Let its steady work reassure you, and let us wander onward to where those defenders gather. Deep inside your bones, hidden beneath the hard outer shell, lies a soft and warm chamber. Here in the marrow, the story of your blood and your defenders softly begins. Marrow is not empty space, but a living nursery, threaded with tiny vessels and cushioned in a rich, spongy tissue. Within it, new cells are being made every hour, all through your life. At the heart of this nursery rests a remarkable maker, the blood stem cell. From this single kind of cell springs every red carrier and every white guardian your body will ever need. These stem cells are calm founders. Most rest in stillness waiting, while a few awaken to divide, ensuring the marrow never runs dry and your defenders are always being renewed. When a stem cell stirs, its offspring face a choice of paths. Some journey toward becoming red cells, carriers of oxygen. Others turn toward the many families of white immune cells. Down one road are born the neutrophils, your most numerous white cells and swift first responders. The marrow crafts them in vast numbers, ready to rush toward any wound. Along another path form the larger macrophages, the big eaters that clean and heal, and the dendritic scouts who will one day carry news of invaders to distant lymph nodes. Natural killer cells also take shape here, watchful sentinels of the innate defense. They will learn to sense cells in distress and act without waiting for any lesson. Among the marrow's finest work are the young B cells. Not only born here, they also grow up here, learning within these warm walls before they ever meet the wider body. As each B cell matures, it is tested with care. Those that might mistake your own tissue for an enemy are gently set aside, so only trusted guardians go forward. A B cell that passes leaves the marrow ready to recognize one shape among millions. Later, roused to action, it can become a plasma cell that pours out marking antibodies. T cells begin here too, though they finish their schooling elsewhere, traveling to the thymus behind the breastbone. Yet even they trace their first breath to this same bony cradle. Consider the marvel of scale. Across your bones, this tissue makes hundreds of billions of new cells each day, a steady tide of renewal you never feel or hear. The marrow works in league with the rest of you. Nutrients arrive through the blood, signals whisper when more defenders are needed, and the nursery answers by making just enough. This is why bones are more than a frame that holds you upright. They are living, generous makers, sheltering the origin of both your breath's carriers and your body's protectors. Some marrow, rich and red, hums with this making. Other marrow, softer and golden, waits in reserve, ready to return to work should your body ever call for more defenders. And here is the tender part for a night like this. While you rest, the marrow keeps its steady labor, replenishing the guardians that watched over your waking hours. So as sleep gathers, picture that warm, hidden nursery at work within you, endlessly kind, endlessly steady, sending forth new life. From this cradle, the tale of your defenders flows onward. Among your innate defenders moves a special kind of guardian, one that needs no lessons and no orders. Natural killer cells move through your blood, watching over every cell, ready in an instant. Unlike their adaptive cousins, these patrols were never trained against a particular foe. They belong to the ancient ready arm of your defenses, awake from birth, needing no rehearsal before they act. Most of your defenders hunt intruders from outside. Natural killer cells do something rarer and more tender. They sense when one of your own familiar cells has silently begun to change. Every healthy cell wears little markers on its surface, a kind of friendly password that says, "All is well here." Natural killer cells pass by and read these signals as they travel. When a cell is troubled, perhaps touched by a hidden invader, it may stop showing that reassuring password. To the patrols, this missing greeting is a hushed signal that help is needed. They also read a second kind of message, small marks of stress that a struggling cell begins to display. Two signals together, one fading, one rising, tell the patrol the moment has come. And here is the wonder of their independence. They wait for no permission, no distant command from any coordinator. Sensing what they sense, they act on their own calm judgment, right where they are. When a natural killer cell decides, it presses close and releases tiny packets that guide the ailing cell toward a calm, orderly ending, folding it away without any mess or alarm. This gentle closing is a kindness to the whole. By retiring one cell that has lost its way, the patrol keeps a hidden trouble from spreading, protecting the countless neighbors around it. Because they answer so swiftly, natural killer cells fill an important gap. Days before the learning defenders can prepare their precise reply, these patrols are already keeping watch and holding the line. Yet they are not reckless. The healthy password on your ordinary cells calms them, staying their hand. Millions of your cells pass beneath their gaze each moment and are recognized as friends. This balance is a marvel of restraint. A defender able to end a cell chooses again and again to leave the healthy ones untouched, guided by the reassuring passwords they carry. Natural killer cells also speak with the wider community of defenders. They release small messenger signals that rouse the big eater cells and sharpen the coordinated response, weaving the innate and adaptive arms together. They gather in your spleen and travel your lymphatic byways, that second circulation of vessels and nodes threading through you, so their watchful presence reaches nearly every still corner of the body. Their numbers rise and fall with your rhythms, and rest is their ally. As you sleep, your defenders replenish and recalibrate, and these tireless patrols renew their strength for the watch ahead. Picture them now, unhurried travelers reading passwords in the dark of your tissues, asking only one soft question of each cell they meet. "Are you well, friend?" and moving on reassured. There is comfort in knowing such guardians exist, ones that need no training to care for you, that trust the healthy and tend the troubled without ever waking you or troubling your calm. So let this watch continue without you. While you rest, the patrols keep on, faithful and unbidden, and your defenses turn next toward the messengers that call every guardian into gathering. Moving through your bloodstream tonight is a hidden fleet of proteins made in the liver, waiting in the plainest stillness. They ask nothing of you. They simply wait, ready to help the moment help is needed. These proteins together are called the complement system, part of your ancient innate defense. They act within minutes, no learning required, a readiness woven into you long before you were born. Picture them as sleeping messengers, each one incomplete on its own. Alone, a single protein does little, but touch the right signal, and one wakes another, and another in a soft chain of rousing. This is a cascade, like a line of leaning stones. The first tips, the second, the third, each nudge growing the response, turning one small alarm into a gathering of many willing hands. The waking can begin in three ways. Sometimes an antibody, that Y-shaped marker, points the way. Sometimes a pattern on a microbe is recognized. Sometimes the proteins simply settle upon a surface that does not belong. Whichever path opens the door, the streams flow together toward one shared purpose. Different beginnings, one calm meeting place, the way many footpaths join into a single road heading home. Their first great gift is tagging. Complement proteins settle upon an invader like a dusting of pale flags, coating its outer surface, marking clearly what belongs to you and what does not. This tagging has a lovely name, opsonization, which simply means making a thing easier to eat. A flagged intruder becomes a bright morsel, unmistakable to the big eating cells that patrol nearby. When a macrophage or a neutrophil arrives, those complement flags fit handles it can grasp. What was slippery becomes easy to hold, and the engulfing goes faster, smoother, kinder to the tissue around it. Some of the smaller pieces that break loose become messengers of their own. They ease outward and call the roaming defenders toward the trouble, a scent on the wind saying, "Come this way, you are needed here." These same fragments coax blood vessels to widen, letting more helpers and fluid reach the place, the warmth we know as gathering repair, protection arriving rather than any harm being done. There is a final flourish too. Several proteins can join hands and build a small ring, a pore set into the wall of certain invaders, letting the outside in until the intruder simply comes undone. Yet this power is held with remarkable care. Your own cells wear protective marks that tell the cascade to stand down, so the proteins clear the stranger while sparing the neighborhood entirely. Because complement can be so forceful, its steps are brief by design. Each waked protein fades within moments, unless the signal continues, a careful timer that keeps the whole cascade from wandering where it should not. In this way, the complement system links the two arms of your defense. It answers in the innate rush of the first hour, yet works hand in hand with the antibodies your adaptive side has learned to craft. Most of the time, you never notice this labor at all. Even now, as you breathe and settle, these proteins ride your blood in unhurried watch, meeting the small and the harmless, and letting most of it pass. Sleep deepens this hushed stewardship. As you rest, your body tends its supplies, restocks its silent messengers, and readies the cascade to answer swiftly and calmly whenever the next small need arises. So let the thought of that faithful fleet settle you. Proteins adrift like starlight in the dark of your veins, tagging, clearing, mending, asking nothing, guarding all while we move onward to the next still marvel within. Of all the wonders inside you, perhaps the deepest is this: your body has learned cell by tireless cell to recognize itself and to leave every part of itself in peace. Your defenders are fierce toward invaders, yet they hold their fire for you. Every heartbeat, every breath, they read the difference between a stranger and the self they were made to protect. Consider the young T cells born in the marrow journeying to the thymus behind your breastbone. There, in a hidden school, they learn a single tender lesson before they are ever set loose. Inside the thymus, each new T cell is shown fragments of your own body, pieces of the true you. Those that would turn against you are gently retired, never allowed to do harm. This gentle culling is called tolerance. It means the cells that remain have passed a kind of exam, proving they can tell your own tissues from anything that does not belong. Only the ones that pass graduate into your bloodstream. So the guardians patrolling you now are the very ones who learned above all else how to spare their own home. B cells learn a similar restraint. Maturing in the marrow, they too are tested against the self, and those that misread you as a foe are hushed before they can raise a false alarm. Yet no school is perfect, and so the body keeps a second, softer layer of care. Even outside the thymus, calming cells travel through you, whispering restraint where restraint is needed. These are the peacekeepers, a special kind of helper cell whose whole purpose is calm. They step between an eager defender and your own tissue and ask it kindly to stand down. Because of them, small misunderstandings pass without a fight. A guardian that begins to doubt is reassured, reminded that what it faces is simply you, worthy of protection, not attack. There is a beauty in restraint that fierceness alone can never hold. Strength that knows when not to strike is a higher strength, and your body practices it in each of its cells. This same wisdom lets you live at peace with the microbiome, the trillions of helpful microbes within you. Your immune system has learned to welcome them as old friends, not foes. Around your gut, where most of your immune tissue gathers, defenders and helpful microbes have reached a long, easy truce, sharing the same warm home in mutual, easy regard. And when tolerance frays a little, as with an allergy to something as harmless as pollen, it is only an overcautious guard, mistaking a floating speck for a threat that was never there. Even then, the body works to relearn calm, to soothe the eager watcher and remind it that the harmless may pass. The instinct to protect simply runs a touch ahead of itself. How remarkable that a defense so powerful should be built first upon knowing what to cherish. Before your body learned to fight, it learned more deeply how to keep itself whole. As you rest tonight, this knowing continues without effort. The self is recognized, the harmless is welcomed, and the guardians hold still, letting you be simply, wholly, safely yourself. So the miracle folds inward, a body at ease within its own borders, defended and undisturbed. And from this quiet certainty of self, the story flows onward into deeper rest. Imagine a rehearsal held in stillness, where your defenders practice against a shadow of a threat that carries none of its danger. This is the still wisdom that vaccines offer your resting body. A vaccine shows your immune system a harmless glimpse of an invader, a fragment or a weakened echo, enough for your guardians to recognize its shape without ever facing the real struggle. Your scouts, the dendritic cells, notice this mild sample and carry a piece of it inward, traveling along the lymphatic pathways toward the small way stations where your learning cells gather to meet it. Within those hushed nodes, helper T cells study the shape and rouse the response, coordinating like a calm conductor who wakes each section of an orchestra in its proper turn. B cells that happen to match the shape are invited forward, and some ripen into plasma cells, tiny workshops that fashion Y-shaped antibodies tuned to lock onto that one particular target. No true illness is needed for this to unfold. The rehearsal is complete in itself, a practice run staged so your defenders learn the steps long before any real performance is asked of them. And here lies the gift that outlasts the rehearsal. Memory cells, both B and T, remain behind for years, keeping the lesson alive within tissues that never forget what they once studied. Should the genuine invader ever arrive, these memory cells recognize it in an instant. What once took days of learning now unfolds in hours, faster and far more assured than the first meeting. Think of it as leaving a lamp lit in a familiar room. When the moment comes, no fumbling in darkness is needed, for your guardians already know exactly where everything stands. This is the same natural learning your adaptive immunity performs after any first encounter. Only here it happens without hardship, a shortcut to readiness paved entirely with safety and calm. The innate defenders play their part too, for a vaccine softly signals that something worth noticing has appeared, and their early alarm helps the adaptive cells commit the lesson more deeply. Some rehearsals need a second showing to settle the memory firmly, a follow-up glimpse that reminds your cells of the shape and strengthens the standing garrison of antibodies and watchful memory. What forms is not a wall, but a preparedness woven through your lymph nodes, your spleen, your marrow, a distributed readiness carried by cells that patrol and wait with endless care. And your body brings this teaching to fruition partly while you sleep. For rest is when immune memory consolidates, when the day's settled lessons are filed away and made lasting. As you lie here, warm and untroubled, the cells that once met a harmless rehearsal may be settling their knowledge deeper, mending and organizing in the restful hours you now give them. There is something reassuring in knowing your defenders can learn without suffering, that protection can be earned in stillness, a foresight arranged so danger meets a garrison already trained and waiting. This is one of the gentlest partnerships between us and our own biology, a way of whispering to the guardians so they stand ready, sparing the body the ordeal of learning the hard way. Rest now within that readiness. Somewhere in the stillness of you, memory cells keep their unhurried vigil, holding lessons learned in safety as we ease onward toward the next quiet wonder within. Deep inside you, in the warm winding of the gut, lives a hidden nation. Trillions of tiny microbes make their home there, more numerous than the stars you could ever count on a clear night. These are not invaders, but companions. Bacteria and other small friendly forms settle along the lining of your intestines, sharing the space with you as guests who have earned a lasting place. Together, this vast gathering is called your microbiome. It is a living garden, tended without your ever noticing, blooming softly through every hour of your waking day and your sleeping night. Many of these small helpers do steady work for you. They break down foods your own body cannot, releasing nourishment and warmth, turning what you eat into gifts you would otherwise have missed. Some craft vitamins as they feed, others coat the walls of your gut, forming a soft living blanket that leaves little room for anything harmful to take hold. They protect the ground they stand upon. Now here is the wonder. Most of your immune tissue wraps around the gut, watching this crowd of strangers, yet it does not attack. It has learned instead the deeper wisdom of welcome. Think how remarkable that is. Your guardians are trained to notice what is foreign, to challenge what does not belong, and still they let these countless small residents remain unharmed and undisturbed. This is tolerance, one of the immune system's stillest arts. Not every stranger is a threat. Some are friends. Learning to tell the difference is a lifelong faithful education begun the day you were born. In earliest infancy, the first microbes arrive and begin to teach. Your defenders study them, take their measure, and slowly build a map of who belongs. The garden and the guardians grow up together. Special calming cells help hold the peace. Regulatory helper cells whisper restraint through the crowd, easing the response, reminding the fierce defenders that these familiar neighbors are to be cared for, not cast out. A thin layer of mucus keeps a respectful distance, letting the microbes flourish just beyond the delicate lining, while immune scouts sample what drifts near, always checking, that all remains as it should. The friendly crowd repays this trust. By filling the space and using the food, they crowd out the few troublesome newcomers, standing shoulder to shoulder as a soft wall of living protection. They even help train the wider immune system, keeping it balanced and wise. A body raised alongside a rich microbiome tends toward a calmer, steadier guard, less prone to startle at what is harmless. So the boundary between self and other softens, here into something kinder. You are not one lone creature, but a gathering, a shared country of body and companions, woven together into a single seamless whole. When you rest, this partnership rests with you. The gut slows, the garden settles, and your immune tissue takes the calm hours to mend its walls and refine the delicate art of knowing friend from foe. There is comfort in this thought as sleep draws near. You are never truly alone inside your own skin. A multitude of small allies breathes with you, works with you, and keeps their faithful watch. Your guardians, in their wisdom, have learned that strength is not only knowing when to act, but knowing when to hold still, when to welcome, and when to let a peaceful multitude simply be. And so the great truce of the gut endures, night after night, a settled agreement older than memory. From this deep harmony within, we move onward toward the wider ways the body keeps its balance. Some nights the guardians within you make an honest mistake, one born entirely of care. A speck of pollen sails in on spring air, harmless as dust, and the watchful defense rises to meet it. Pollen is only a plant's fine golden powder, seeking a flower far away. Yet to a cautious immune system, this innocent traveler can wear the shape of something it feels moved to challenge. We call this gentle misunderstanding an allergy. It is not the body failing you. It is the very same vigilance that shields you, simply reading a friend as a stranger and reaching to protect. Deep in the marrow, B cells had once learned to craft antibodies, those small Y-shaped proteins that lock onto a single chosen target. Usually they answer true threats. Here, they answer a harmless grain instead. A particular antibody tuned to the pollen settles upon mast cells that wait within the tissues of your nose and skin, sentries holding a description of the visitor, ready should it ever return. When that same pollen returns on another breeze, the waiting sentries recognize it at once. Their held antibodies clasp the grain, and a small signal ripples outward, calling for a response. These sentries release their stores, and the tissues answer with a familiar warmth. Blood vessels widen a little, bringing fluid and helpers near, the same repair-minded rush that heals a scrape, only aimed at something benign. That widening is why the nose may run or the eyes may prickle. It is the tide of care arriving, washing, flushing, trying to sweep away a guest that was never truly dangerous at all. A sneeze, then, is not weakness but eagerness, the airways clearing themselves with a bright rush of breath, escorting the mistaken visitor back out into the world where it belongs. Helper cells lend their coordinating voice, and the response leans toward this over-welcoming path. Scientists trace much of it to one branch of the immune orchestra playing louder than the harmless moment asks. The wonder here is memory, the same enduring recall that lets you meet an old illness with ease also remembers pollen, which is why each season the guardians greet it so promptly, so surely. Nothing in this is broken. It is precision turned toward the wrong page, a beautifully specific system answering a call that need not have been made, still doing the only thing it knows, keeping watch. Not everyone's guardians read pollen this way. Whether they do seems shaped by inheritance, by the microbes met in early life, and by all the harmless things a young defense learns to welcome and let pass. That learning is called tolerance, the quiet art of recognizing what is safe. Trillions of helpful microbes in the gut help teach it, showing the immune system how much of the world deserves an open door. Over time, tolerance can even be coaxed and widened. The defense gradually taught that a once suspicious grain is only a friend, until the greeting softens and the seasons grow calmer again. So there is nothing to fear in an allergy, only a devotion slightly overspilling its banks. The same love of you that mends a wound simply reached a touch too far toward a wisp of spring. And rest itself helps set the balance right. As you sleep, the defenders sort their memories, refine what is friend and what is foe, and settle into a steadier, wiser calm by morning. So let the pollen wander where it will beyond the glass. Within you, the guardians keep learning, softening, tuning their care, and their tireless watch carries you onward into the deepening quiet of the night. Far below your resting thoughts lies a long, winding corridor, the gut, where most of your immune system keeps its home. More guardians gather here than anywhere else in the body. Along these walls live trillions of tiny microbes, your microbiome, mostly helpful companions. The immune system has learned over years to tolerate these friends rather than treat them as strangers. This is the great daily work of the gut, sorting friend from foe hour after hour, welcoming the helpful and turning away the harmful, all without a single flicker of your attention. Woven into the gut wall are patches of lymphatic tissue, small clusters of immune cells stationed like watch houses along a river, sampling all that passes by on the current. Scouts called dendritic cells reach delicate arms into the passage, gathering a piece of whatever floats by, then carry that sample inward to teach the waiting defenders what it means. Macrophages, the calm big eaters, settle here for the long haul, engulfing debris and worn material, keeping the corridor tidy and helping the tissue heal where it needs mending. When a scout meets a true stranger, it travels to a nearby lymph node and shows its sample to helper T cells, who rouse the response and choose exactly the right reply. Should the danger prove real, B cells mature into plasma cells and pour out antibodies, those Y-shaped proteins that lock onto one target alone, tagging it so other defenders can clear it away. Yet against your peaceable microbiome, the guardians hold their fire. Tolerance is an active kind of peace, learned and remembered, a settled agreement renewed with every passing meal. This balance began early, when your first companions arrived and your defenders learned their faces. Ever since, the gut has practiced the fine art of knowing whom to trust. Regulatory T cells here can also calm the response, sending signals that say softly, "This one belongs," keeping the corridor peaceful so no needless heat arises where none is warranted. Some antibodies made in the gut are shaped to guard the surface itself, coating the lining like a soft, watchful film that keeps the peace without ever stirring alarm. And the innate defenders stand ready too, natural killer cells sensing any stressed or troubled cell, complement proteins adrift in the fluid, all prepared to act the moment need arises. Because so much of the body's teaching happens here, the gut becomes a school for the whole immune system, shaping how your defenders behave far beyond this hushed corridor. Memory forms in this place as well, cells that will linger for years, so a returning stranger meets a swift, familiar answer instead of a slow first lesson. All of this unfolds while you eat, while you dream, while you lie here at rest, a vast and careful sorting carried out by guardians who ask nothing of you. As you sleep, this tolerance deepens and memory settles more firmly into place, the body mending its borders, strengthening the calm accord between you and your trillion small friends. And so the gut keeps its long, unhurried vigil through the night, sorting, welcoming, remembering, while the tide of care flows onward through vessels and nodes to every corner of you. As you settle toward sleep, your defenders do not rest with you. Instead, they begin their finest work, for the deepest hours of the night are when the body mends itself most fully. Something shifts as slumber deepens. The pace of daytime alarm eases, and your immune cells turn from watching for trouble toward the slower, steady art of learning and repair. During deep sleep, helper cells that coordinate defense grow more attentive to the lessons of the day, reviewing each visitor the scouts encountered while you moved through your waking hours. Think of memory cells, both the antibody-making kind born in marrow and the guardian kind schooled in the thymus, settling into their long remembering during these still and darkened hours. A first meeting with any invader takes days to answer, but rest helps the body hold that lesson. So a second meeting years onward is met with calm, swift recognition. The scouts we call dendritic cells carried their small clues to the lymph nodes by day in sleep. Those clues become durable knowledge, filed away for whenever they may be needed again. Sleep appears to strengthen the bonds between the cells that teach and the cells that learn, letting the adaptive arm etch its specific memories more firmly into the years ahead. Meanwhile, the tireless big eaters, the macrophages, continue clearing away debris from the day's small repairs, tidying tissue and smoothing the path toward wholeness while you lie unaware. Inflammation, that warm widening of vessels that brings help to a wound, tends to soften and resolve during rest, its work of repair carried forward in the body's darkened calm. Even a modest fever, the raised set point that slows invaders and quickens defenders, finds its natural rhythm alongside sleep, the two woven together in the body's ancient wisdom of healing. The natural killer cells, Innate sentinels that sense when a cell is stressed keep their watch through the night, needing no lesson, ready in an instant should anything stir. Signaling molecules that once seemed only to make you weary are, it turns out, part of the invitation to sleep itself, the immune system asking for the rest it needs to work. In marrow deep within your bones, new defenders are born through the night, a fresh generation of white cells rising while the older ones finish their tasks and hand over their watch. This is why sleep and immunity are so tenderly bound. A well-rested body forms sharper memories, answers threats more calmly, and keeps its guardian steady and prepared for the days to come. Down in the lymphatic vessels, that second hushed circulation, lymph eases along carrying cells and messages between the lymph nodes, its slow tides matching your breathing. Around the gut, where most of your immune tissue gathers, the guardians renew their gentle agreement with the trillions of helpful microbes they have learned to welcome rather than fight. So there is a truth worth holding as you settle. Rest is not idleness. It is the body's truest mending, the hour when protection is renewed and healing softly completed. Let sleep come then, knowing your silent guardians are caring for you, learning, repairing, remembering, so that you may wake stronger and the story of your defenses can carry gently onward. Long before your first breath, your defenses begin to take shape, cells forming in the marrow of tiny bones, already preparing to protect a life not yet fully arrived. In those earliest days, a newborn borrows protection, antibodies passed across from a mother, Y-shaped proteins on loan, guarding while the young immune system finds its own footing. Milk carries its own gift, more of those borrowed guardians and gentle guidance, coating the gut where so much immune tissue waits, teaching tolerance before the world grows busy. The thymus, tucked behind the breastbone, is busiest in childhood, schooling young T cells, teaching each one what belongs to you so it will never turn against your own. Every meeting is a lesson. A dendritic cell, that tireless scout, carries a fragment to a lymph node, where the adaptive system meets something new and begins to learn it by heart. The first encounter is unhurried, taking days as B cells become makers of antibodies and helper T cells rouse the effort, a slow rehearsal that leaves lasting knowledge behind. When it fades, some cells remain. Memory B and T cells linger for years, holding the shape of what passed through, so a second meeting is answered before you ever notice. Childhood is a season of learning. Each mild encounter another entry in a growing library. The innate defenders always ready in minutes, while the adaptive mind studies and remembers. A harmless rehearsal can teach the same lesson, showing your guardians a shape to remember without any true danger, so memory forms in calm and readiness waits quietly for a day that may never come. Around you live trillions of helpful microbes, and your defenders learn which are friends, choosing tolerance over alarm, a lifelong friendship kept in steady balance along the lining of your gut. Sometimes the guard mistakes something harmless, a stray wisp of pollen, for a threat, and answers more than it needs to. It is only eagerness, a vigilance that means well. Through your grown years, the two arms work as one, neutrophils and macrophages arriving fast, killer T cells and antibodies answering with precision, a partnership rehearsed across decades. When a small hurt swells warm and pink, that is repair arriving, blood vessels widening to bring helpers close, the body mending itself with calm, purposeful care. Natural killer cells move through, sensing which of your own cells are stressed or troubled, acting without training, an ancient instinct still faithful after all these years. As the years lengthen, the thymus grows smaller and slower, yet memory remains rich, a lifetime of lessons carried forward, wisdom outlasting the school that first taught it. Each night as you rest, this remembering deepens. Sleep helps set immune memory, strengthens the defenders, and lets the body mend. So tomorrow you meet the world already prepared. From the first borrowed antibody to the settled wisdom of later years, your guardians grow with you, learning, remembering, forgiving, a faithful company that has kept you all along. And so it continues while you sleep, unseen and untiring, a lifetime of care folded into every cell, carrying you softly onward into all the mornings still to come. The room has grown dim, your breathing has slowed, and all through your resting body a countless company of guardians keeps its watch, asking nothing of you but that you sleep. While you dream, neutrophils drift through your blood, the most numerous of your defenders, ready in minutes to hurry toward any wound and fold a stray invader into themselves. Larger and unhurried in their rounds, the macrophages move like night wardens, clearing worn cells and small debris, tidying tissue, and murmuring word to other defenders when something seems amiss. Among them wander dendritic scouts, forever curious, gathering a fragment of anything unfamiliar and carrying it inward toward a lymph node, the meeting place where a precise reply can begin. This is your innate defense, ancient and shared with nearly every creature that breathes fast and unfussy, never needing to learn a foe by name before it acts. Deeper within waits the adaptive side, the part of you that studies and remembers, slower to wake the first time yet astonishingly exact once it knows what it is meeting. In the marrow of your bones, fresh defenders are born tonight, a steady hidden nursery replenishing the ranks so that morning finds your watch as full as it was at dusk. Some travel behind your breastbone to the thymus, a hushed school where young T cells learn restraint, taught to spare your own tissue and recognize only what does not belong. Helper T cells are the coordinators, rousing and directing the response, while their killer kin can dismantle one of your own cells should an intruder ever slip inside it. B cells, matured within the marrow, can become makers of antibodies, those small Y-shaped proteins that lock onto a single target and tag it plainly for others to gather away. Natural killer cells roam without instruction, sensing when a cell has grown stressed or troubled, needing no lesson beforehand, acting on an old and reliable instinct woven deep in your blood. Through your vessels flows the complement, a cascade of proteins that clicks into sequence like falling dominoes, marking intruders and helping clear them, a still, steady chemistry running while you rest. Should a small skirmish arise, warmth and a flush of blood would arrive, not harm, but repair, vessels widening to bring helpers close, the body's way of tending and mending itself. And if your temperature ever lifted a little, that gentle rise would be no accident but a chosen setting, slowing intruders while your own defenders quicken, a fever working in your favor. Alongside your blood runs the lymph, a second river of vessels and nodes, joined by spleen and thymus, ferrying cells and messages through the night. A great share of this watch surrounds your gut. There live trillions of helpful microbes your defenders have learned to welcome, a familiar household the immune system tolerates, tending a long and easy peace kept along the lining of you. Memory cells formed from earlier meetings linger for years like keepers of a slow archive, so a second encounter passes faster and calmer, the reason a rehearsal can spare you a struggle. And in this very stillness the memory deepens, for sleep is when the body mends and stores its learning, your guardians never resting, carrying you calmly toward another well-defended morning. Here at the close of our long journey, let everything loosen. Your breath can slow. The work of the day is finished, and the work of the night begins without you having to lift a thing. All through your body, the guardians we have followed remain at their posts. Neutrophils patrol, macrophages tend and clean, and none of them ask anything of you but rest. Deep in the marrow, new cells are being born even now, still as snow settling. Fresh defenders form while you lie here, needing no instruction, no worry, no wakefulness from you. The lymph moves in its own slow tide, carrying scouts and messengers through vessels and nodes. This second river flows, whether you watch it or not, faithful in the dark. In the thymus behind the breastbone, young T cells are learning who belongs and who does not. Around the gut, a great gathering of immune tissue keeps its faithful watch. Should anything foreign have slipped in today, dendritic cells have already carried word to the nodes, and helper T cells have roused the ones best suited to answer. Your memory cells hold what they have learned across the years, keeping the lessons of old meetings close. Because of them, tomorrow's guarding will be softer, surer, almost effortless. Antibodies move through your blood, each shaped to lock onto one thing and mark it for clearing. They tag and they signal, tireless and unhurried, asking nothing of your tired mind. Natural killer cells sense which cells are well and which are strained, needing no training to know the difference. The complement proteins wait in readiness, a cascade poised and calm. If any small repair is underway, blood is simply widening its channels to bring warmth and helpers there. What feels like heat is only care arriving, mending what the day wore thin. This is the hour immunity loves best. As you sink towards sleep, your body strengthens its defenders and sets its memories more firmly, folding the day's learning into lasting protection. You need do nothing to earn this. The mending happens in the deep of rest, freely given, the way the tide comes in without being called or watched or worried over. Let your shoulders grow heavy. Let your jaw unclench. Every guardian we have named is awake so that you may finally, completely be allowed to close your eyes. The trillions of gentle microbes you carry rest alongside you too, tolerated and known, a settled companionship your defenders learned long ago to welcome rather than to fear. There is nothing frightening in any of this. It is only care, layered and ancient, the oldest kind of tending, wrapped around you like a blanket you cannot see but can trust. Think of it as being held, countless small keepers, each doing one small thing, add up to one whole body that knows how to protect you while you sink beyond thought. You are guarded. You are healing. There is nothing left undone, nothing left to hold, nothing left to do but let the last of your waking soften and fall away. Good night now. Sink all the way down into the warm, dark safe among your silent keepers, and sleep, and let your wondrous body carry you gently until morning.